Hey, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Glad to be back with a new and exciting episode, the last episode of 2025. So this is the last one to the end of for the end of the year, and we'll be back and better than ever in 2026. But I have a returning guest coming on shortly. She's waiting in the wings, so before I bring her on, let's get it. Hit my music. All right. Once again, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Glad to be back with a new episode. This is episode 301. Again, last episode of the 2025 year. And like I said, looking forward to 2026, bigger and better than ever, as always. But before I bring my final guest of 2025, you can follow the show on all the podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple. We're also on YouTube, BS3 Network, BS3TVLive.com, BS3 Network Roku channel, iHeartRadio, wherever you consume podcasts, we are there. And you can follow me on all the social platforms, LinkedIn, Blue Sky, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I think that's all of them. Yes, I believe that's all of them. There's so many of them now. And I'm active on a few of those, so you guys can follow me. I Get the Real Deal or Courtney Harden, The Real Deal with Courtney Harden. So let me bring in my returning guest for episode 301. Had a really wonderful time with her the last time we did this sometime earlier this year, and it was only right to bring her back. She is a writer, reporter for basketball at CBS Sports. So let me bring in Isabel Gonzalez. Welcome back to the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for inviting me back.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it's good to catch up. Want to catch up with you, and we had such a great conversation. And the last time, got to know you a little bit and connect. So I said I gotta get Isabel back on the show before the year, before the 2025 year ends. So looking forward to having you back on. So really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. And I guess we hit it off so well. We're matching today.
Yeah, and look, yes, and we got the same almost colors on. We got the blue. We had the blue memo, and we did not plan this, but it's it's funny that we were matching. So we had, like I said, such a good time, and now we're matching colors with our shirts and everything too. But how's everything with you? How's everything been since the last time we talked? Like now we got the basketball, college basketball has started, or now it's like really in the heart of it as well for the first couple of months. But how's everything been with you over the last few months?
Everything's been good. I love college basketball season. I'm busy year round.
Yeah.
Some things you go to. I went to Overtime Select during the summer. So that was really fun. I helped out with some WNBA stuff. I watched obviously a lot of NBA, but I love college basketball. It's just so crazy and unpredictable that I think that's what makes it fun. And I take the lead for college basketball, for women's basketball.
Yep.
So I watch a lot of men's too, of course, but with the women's, I'm just so locked in because I have to be. There's so many teams, so many great players, so many storylines. So it's a really exciting time for me, and it's about to be Christmas, so that's also going to be nice to slow down a little bit with it, but everything's been great.
That's good. That's good. Yes, I know that you say you cover basketball. I know you love basketball itself, and not just, they said, the pro, but also they said WNBA. But you are definitely one of the best writers when it comes to the college basketball scene and college basketball women's especially. And I read a lot of your articles, most of them, and everything too. So I was like, yeah, we got to catch up. And with the season's been very good. So what's your so we'll start there. We'll start with the women's college basketball season. What has been a couple storylines that you've been keying on or eyeing on, or what's been some of the headlines that you're looking forward to seeing what happens in the next 3 to 4 months upcoming to March Madness?
So I think what a lot of people are talking about are, and for good reason, UConn and Texas, and
Mm,
who should
yeah.
have that number one spot.
Yes.
And I feel like at this point in the season, predictions and like rankings are never going to be perfect.
Right.
To me, I still have UConn at number one in my preseason predictions. We
Yep.
had to make bold predictions, and for me, it was UConn going undefeated. And that was because I saw what they did last year. Of course, they don't have Paige Beckers anymore, but I just really liked who they returned, the people who they added, and I just really believed in Sarah Strong taking an even bigger step from her freshman year and AC
Yeah.
Fudd working on defense. So for me, they are still number one because if you won the national championship and your key players got better, minus Paige Beckers who's gone, and you're so deep. Like this is their first year; they don't have a bunch of injuries. So to me, that's scary. Look at what UConn has done when they have a very small roster. So now that they're
Right.
pretty deep, that's terrifying. So I also do love what Texas is doing though, and I remember last year during the NCAA tournament, everybody was like they're not going to make it far because they don't have 3-point shooting, but they pulled off some wins that people didn't think they were going to pull.
Yeah.
And a lot of it had to do with defense. I think they did have some potential offense, but that potential didn't really come out till this year. And they added some pieces there, like some shooters. But I really love what like Jordan Lee has been doing, just stepping into a bigger role as a more consistent shooter for the team. And you have Rory Harmon, you have Madison Booker. This is a pretty dangerous team now that they made it to the Final Four without a shooter. It was mostly defense,
Yep.
and now they actually have offense too. Like that's terrifying for any opponent. And I just think both teams are amazing. It's gonna be so hard to decide. I can see why some people think Texas should be number one because of their resume wins, but I don't know. Just they're great teams to watch right now.
Yes, I agree. I think that is the biggest storyline. I 100% agree with everything you said with UConn and Texas, and I think it comes down to those two teams so far. But UConn, I agree with that. UConn should be number one until someone beats them. And until then, they're like I said, they're the national champions. Yes, they lost an all world player in Paige Beckers, but Easy Fudd and Sarah Strong. Doing what they do, doing what they've done, and even stepping up even more. The scary thing about Sarah Strong is how much better she can still continue to get, as you said, keep stepping up as a sophomore.
Yeah.
And they had that incredible freshman run. And they said UConn, healthy UConn is a dangerous UConn. And they're deep, as you said, at a lot of positions. And and then Easy Fudd, the great shooter that she is, continues to get better and better and better herself. And if she stays healthy, they're even more dangerous. So I do like UConn, they said, as number one until someone beats them.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people on that team deserve credit, not just those
Mm-hmm.
two, but like KK Arnold stepping up at point guard.
Yes. Yep.
Um, and I think Gino talked about it. She was one of the players who was a starter when they were not enough players. Then she went back on the bench, and now
Yep.
she's back in the starting lineup. So I just think, like even with Texas right now, like they're kind of shorthanded. I feel like injuries are never good,
Yep.
but injuries do help sometimes when the team knows how to kind of come together and bounce back and like everybody steps up, because when there are people injured and you just have to take on a bigger role, you have to just grow faster than maybe you yourself expected. And then when the other players come back, the whole team's a lot stronger. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's what we saw from UConn. We saw them, I think at some point they had like a 6-player rotation and they still made it, once again to the Final Four.
Yep.
And then I don't know. I think with Texas right now, like they are pretty shorthanded, and look at what they're doing. So I think it's teams who have just a next women up type of mentality that are going to do really well.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And I'm looking at your rankings, the power rankings that you've done. And you said you have South Carolina 3, that in UCLA. I mean, these are some of the powerhouses anyway. LSU, Michigan, Oklahoma, and Maryland, Iowa State, and TCU rounds out the top 10. Any surprises for you? I know you have Iowa State keeps rising after statement
Yeah.
win. That was That was updated. This was last week over Iowa. But any surprises there? You said you got a lot of the powerhouses that are usually the top contenders, and they were some of the preseason favorites as well.
Yeah, so I mean, not really a surprise, but I guess just it's good to see. I think Iowa State had a lot of big expectations. My dogs are barking. Sorry if you can
Yeah,
hear
so yeah, he's trying to get in there, trying to get
little
involved
Yorkie.
too.
Yeah,
Yes.
they won their 5 minutes of fame. So last year, Iowa State had a lot of potential. They kind of underperformed, in the NCAA tournament. So it was going to be about how they bounce back, because if you had all these expectations, this talent, and you didn't make it that far, that could either crush you or motivate you for the next season.
Right.
And I think that motivated them. And honestly, like, Addie Crooks is one of the top candidates for Player of the Year right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's been awesome to see for her, because one, she always seems like such a happy, like, good vibes type of person.
Yeah.
But just the way she plays, I think she's always so humble. Like, you can see it kind of like on the court, but just, mostly off the court when she talks to her teammates. But just everything she does, she's so efficient. And, like, she can get, obviously, inside the paint. Like, she knows how to move her feet. She has a high basketball IQ, but she can also do, like, fadeaways when she needs to. I just love the effort I see from her. And it's not a surprise, but I feel like we didn't talk about her that much during preseason because of what happened last season. So that's one of the things that I think has been fun to see during this early in the season.
Yeah, for sure. And then you're right. I think the top 10 is still like there's gonna definitely be some moving parts when it comes down really to it with some of these teams. We talked about Texas and UConn. Any of those other teams you think could be? I'm sure there's quite a few of them, but any teams in your eyes so far in this first, say, quarter of the season that could really contend with Texas and UConn?
Well, it's hard to go against Dawn Staley.
Yes.
I feel like that's an easy pick just because it's Dawn Staley.
Right.
And if you see her, like in Las Vegas, I went to the Players Era Championship, and she was not upset about losing, because she said this is a good opportunity. In November, it's totally okay to have a loss like that. And the team, I feel like South Carolina is very strong, and we haven't really seen them reach their full potential, to be honest, because sometimes they struggle with offense, which is in a way interesting, since everybody assumed, Tanaya Latson joins the team, who led the nation in scoring last season, but then it's not like South Carolina is like the offensive powerhouse right now. But people have to understand it's a different system, Latson's not going to be doing the same thing she did at her former school, because South Carolina plays a different style. I still think their defense is really good. I think their offense sometimes gets a little stagnant, and that's what gets them, but that's what I mean. Like, later on, if they are able to find a better rhythm, just more consistency, I think that's going to go really well for them. And again, just Dawn Staley's a great coach. And then another usual suspect being LSU.
Yes.
I think people don't talk about them as much early in the season because their strength of schedule isn't particularly tough. But if you see what they've done, even against, not so highly ranked opponents, I still feel like they're gelling really well. And you have, of course, the leadership of Flau'jae Johnson. And you have even a player like Malaysia Fulwiley, who's not even a starter, but she can spark like that offense from the bench. That's just another team that, come conference play, they're going to be so dangerous. Like right now, we're going to be starting to see more like tough opponents in their schedule, and it's going to be fun to really see them be tested.
Yes, absolutely. And I think you're right. I think that the top 5 teams, I think they've separated themselves, but you said UConn, Texas, South Carolina, UCLA, LSU. I think those are the 5. But you said now with conference play coming in, we get to see now where teams stand, and coaching does go a long way. You said you talked about Dawn Staley. She always will have South Carolina, but South Carolina over the last couple of seasons, offense, you would get stagnant, but they always relied on that their defense and also the coaching, the elite coaching as well. But what's your thoughts on UCLA so far? They're 9-1, I believe, and But what do you think of them, and how far, in your opinion, as of now, how far can they go?
I think they're also another team who they've been really good, but I feel like they're still going to get more dangerous as the season goes on.
Yeah.
And I say that because in Las Vegas at the Players Era Championship, they lost that first game. And Corey Close was talking about how the team had a team meeting, players only meeting. And to me, that was really cool to see that it was the players who talk among themselves and help themselves bounce back to get a really good win against Duke.
Yep.
And I know Duke is kind of down, but that was still a pretty good win. And
Yes.
just I mean, we talk about like Lauren Betts, right? Like last year she had a breakout season. I feel like she's not even taking over as much this year because you have like Gabriela Hawkes stepping up big time. She had already stepped up last year. I love that she's been consistent and this is almost like another breakout season for her.
Yeah.
And if when Sienna Betts comes back, which should be pretty soon, could even be like tonight, that's going to be awesome to add more depth there. So for UCLA, made it to the Final Four. They are still very strong right now. Their star player, Lauren Betts, hasn't had to be the biggest star
The
like last
dominant
year.
one. Yep.
Yeah, like I think that's still pretty dangerous. So I love what I'm seeing from them. And like I said, the main part is just seeing how good they are as a team, just talking to each other and bouncing back from, like that loss against Texas.
That's a really good point about them having a players only meeting early in the season, just to make sure, okay, everyone's on the same page. Let's and then you're right. I think they're a very dangerous team moving forward. Some of these teams, like you said, it's just the beginning. So the first 10, 11 games, third of the season is here, and by February, they'll step up, and Lauren Betts will. I'm sure she's gonna like ratchet it up, and
Yeah.
that's so scary. That's the scary thing. They're 9-1, and that's very scary. Like she can go right into that dominant point in the season and say, okay, it's time to ratchet it up, and that's scary. And they're still playing well, even without her being as dominant as we know that she's capable of.
Yeah, for sure. Because sometimes you don't have to be.
No,
I mean, you
right.
look at a team like South Carolina when you usually don't have one player who has like crazy stats every night. Like that's their
Mhm.
style. And I think with UCLA, they have all this talent that has developed. Like Hawkes, that started her college college career a little bit more quiet, and then as she kind of grew older, she started just being more vocal because the veteran leadership is gone, and just those players stepping up. I think that's what makes not a team not good just one season, but I think it's going to help UCLA just in future years.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, another thing was the conference. There's a conference supremacy. But the Big Ten has 9 teams in the poll right now. It's like they're just the Big Ten just seems to be such dominant. SEC was with 8. So what do you think of that? The whole Big Ten having so many teams in this top 25. Just how big, how really good and deep this conference is.
I feel like, of course, those two conferences are always very dominant.
Hmm.
Um, I think right now with the Big Ten, there might not be, as clear of a line because with the SEC, you have like your top three teams, and then
Yes.
that's like one tier, and then after that, like they're still very competitive and there can be upsets. But with the Big Ten, yeah, like that's gonna be really fun to watch, honestly. Like UCLA absolutely dominating, but I would love to see how like USC bounces back, honestly, because they have the potential. You have one of the best freshmen in the nation with Jassy Davison.
Yeah.
So I feel like right now they're kind of down, but I don't expect them to be like this come like February. So that's going to be fun to see. Of course, like Maryland has been really good. Iowa, I'm going to be talking to Jan Jensen soon. That's a team that
Yeah.
like it's been so surprising. They during the Caitlin Clark era, of course, we talked about like the offense. How many points is Caitlin going to score?
Yes. Yes.
But right now, I've been so impressed with other things they do, like rebounding. Like Jan Jensen was like rebounds are possessions, and the team has been embracing that effort. Like to me, rebounds are effort. Are you really fighting to get the ball back? And their defense, like we've never really talked about Iowa as like a super strong defensive team, but they do a really good job with their scouting. And
Yeah.
yeah, I just think that's another team that's like we weren't sure what to expect. It's the only second season
Yeah.
after the Caitlin Clark era. Lisa Bluter is gone, but Jan Jensen's doing a great job. She got some great recruits. So yeah, it's a conference where anything could happen. I feel like that one we're gonna see a lot of upsets, a lot of crazy things happening as the
Yeah.
conference play, advances.
Yeah, so many different. Yeah, I like that the Big Ten, and you said the Big Ten, SEC they're the dominant conferences right now. But you're like it's so wide open. Top teams, but you just don't know like who's gonna. Yeah, this is what I like about college basketball in general, especially on the women's side over the last 3 to 5 years. It could be any given day, with the way the conferences are, it's so competitive. You just don't know what team is gonna really. Now, yeah, top teams usually come out normally, but it's going to be a interesting 2026, and I know you're like right in the heart of it and everything too. So it kind of broke down everything there. Who you feel like is early, but who do you feel like is the who's been playing the best basketball, like in any of the top one or two women that you think is playing the best basketball right now?
Um, so if it's gonna be, for player of the year, my
Yeah,
prediction during preseason, I haven't changed it. I still feel like it's gonna be Sarah Strong because there are so many players. Like I still feel like Audi Crooks could do something
yeah,
amazing. Like I think she was gonna potentially, or she could be, if she keeps going like this, she could be the first player since like Joel Embiid to average more than or at least 1 point per minute, which is insane. If
that's insane. That's just a
yeah,
scoring machine.
yeah, like last
you
time I checked,
know,
she she was well on track. So
yes,
obviously a lot of the season is left, but just the fact that we weren't talking about that right now, like it was only Embiid and like Will Chamberlain. So that tells you like she's in great company. Um,
yeah,
so nothing like against what she's done, but I think for me when it comes to player of the year is of course your own stats, but also how you affect your team and the results. So I think if UConn is ranked number one right now, and if they defend their national title, then she kind of deserves it, because even if like Audi Chris has crazier stats, I think it's just how Sarah impacts the team. And of course, it can be a little bit unfair if UConn has a bunch of stars. You have AC playing right next to you. But to
yeah.
me, just Sarah, like, I love what she's doing. She's also so young and she's so good on both sides of the court. She hasn't hit her ceiling yet. It's just amazing to see such a young player take on such a big role for the best team in the nation.
Yes, absolutely. We talked. I think we were talking about this before about Sarah Strong, how good she was as a freshman, and they in the one of the craziest things is even with Paige was mostly healthy most of the season last year and everything, and Paige says all world, but they was really relying on Sarah Strong. Like she brought it from, like I said, both ends of the floor, scoring inside, outside, defensively was really good, and it's scary. Like I said, that how young and how good she was a freshman. And I'm just looking at her numbers now: 17.5 points, almost 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 58% from the field. Like those are just crazy numbers.
Yeah.
And then you said, and they can even be even better. Like she can get into that double double, 20 and 10, 19 and 10. Very time she's just under 9 and just under 18 points. So and also on 5 assists, unselfish player too. So yeah, I agree. I think she, um, as of today, could be the player of the year as well.
Yeah, there's so many other players, of
So
course,
many.
like, Hannah Hidalgo
And
also is
doggo,
up
yeah.
there. She deserves so much credit for like
Hmm.
they call her a dog, and she is. Like she's
Yes,
got what
yes.
drives her funny. I think for her just the argument is like, well, how is her team gonna do later on? Like they need to find more consistency, more depth. But I mean, she is also another candidate that I'm gonna be looking at. If the Fighting Irish all of a sudden are one of the most competitive teams in like February, then she has a really good argument there. But yeah, just Sarah Strong is just right now. Maybe it's the easy pick right now.
Yeah, yeah, that could be. But you're right. There's other players as well. So again, we'll look forward to um, what this the season entails. I look forward to your coverage of it as well. But got to ask you about you were highlighted in a Sports Illustrated article. Uh, about a month ago or so, I saw that, and I want to ask you about that. For one, to be highlighted in Sports Illustrated, the well-known magazine, SI.com, and everything too. But how did that all come about? And talk a little bit about how that made you feel about someone did a feature of you on in Sports Illustrated.
So what's funny is, okay, usually I do get mentioned in like different publications, of course. It's like,
Right.
oh well, Isabel ranked Iowa this, or Isabel liked this one player this week. But they never necessarily talk about exactly what I'm doing, just more like this is what she said or who she
Yeah.
interviewed. But so this all came about because I was in Las Vegas around Thanksgiving and I was
Hmm.
catching up with Dawn Staley, and I've talked to her like, for a while. And one of the first things I learned about her like years ago, it was that she's pescatarian. And I was, very interested in that because I've never met
Yeah.
a pescatarian. And she loves to grill and stuff. So I'm like, wait, it's Thanksgiving. This is a perfect time to ask her, what do pescatarians eat? Other than like, because you can't have turkey. So
Right.
we were talking about that, and she's telling me you can make meatballs from salmon. Like, you just grind up the salmon, you can make like meatballs or meatloaf, which I'm like, well, it's not meatloaf if it's salmon.
Yeah,
you
meatless
know,
loaf or something like
and at
that.
first I was like, oh, I don't know, that sounds a little weird. But then I thought about it. I'm like, okay, send me the recipe. Like, why not? But we're talking about that, right? Like being pescatarian. And then I just wanted to like catch up more. She has a super cute dog named Champ. So I'm like, whoa, how's Champ? You can tell me more about him. And she tries to make a joke. She's like, well, he's not vegan. He is treegan. And at first I'm just like, what? Because it sounded like treegan.
Mhm.
And I was like, trees? He likes trees?
Mhm.
And then she kept repeating it. She was like, tree again. And I'm like, oh. And eventually I caught it, but she's like staring at me like, you cannot be messing up my joke right now. I caught it. I started laughing, and I could feel her SID like rolling her eyes behind me because she knew Don Staley had messed up the joke. Because
Yeah,
usually
yeah,
she says vegetarian and Gary, something like that, like a little more obvious.
yeah.
But she's made the joke before apparently in their little circle, and now that she made it in front of me and I'm recording this, everybody in the hallway was just like laughing, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Dawn Staley walks away, and she's like, did you see her face? And she's just like laughing her head off, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I wasn't trying to ruin her joke. So I post the video. I realized I didn't even know how to spell pescatarian, by the way,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
my
right.
bad. Like I sounded it out.
That's
So posted
funny.
it. Didn't think much about it because I'm like, it's just like a cute little thing, like it was just a
Yeah.
Thanksgiving like catch up. And then all of a sudden, like people started sharing it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, no, like I didn't think this through because I'm like, I didn't understand the joke. Like I wasn't trying to put myself out there and be like, look, guys, I'm a little bit slow when it comes to understanding jokes. But it kept going, and most people were focused on like how she made that joke, and they were like, oh, Dawn. But then Sports Illustrated saw it, and they wrote about the whole interaction. They talked about like the Thanksgiving dinner, and then
Right.
they talked about like that joke, and then I see that paragraph where it's like, yeah, and at first Gonzalez didn't understand it. It took her a minute, and then eventually she got it. So I just thought that was really funny that they saw that interaction. It was like a wholesome little thing.
Yeah.
Just it was just funny to me that out of everything I've done, everything I did, even just that week, like
From that
that's the
week.
one that caught their attention, and they're like, yeah, that was funny enough to to
Oh,
write about.
right, right. That's funny. Yes, I'm looking at it. So Grant Young, like he said, it was one of his favorite stories he'd written was about you, and to that, the feature, and he says, in your tweet, you said it's not often Sports Illustrated writes about stuff I do, but when they do, it's about that how long it took to understand the Dawn Staley joke of Tregan, Tregan, and then smile once the joke finally landed with you. So, but like you said, just for the fact that they shouted you out and highlighted you on that too, and I think that's cool just to be a part of SI.com. So yeah, so everyone check that out. It was posted on Sports Illustrated and on the SI.com website. But that is funny. But again, interaction with someone like Dawn Staley, you get those opportunities to do that and get a joke with her too. So I know that was such I'm sure a cool moment.
Oh yeah, and I love those interactions with coaches because when you notice when you work in sports media is that obviously you don't have a ton of opportunities to see these coaches all the
Right.
time if you are national or if you're from a different part of the country. And I'm national, so it's not like I'm at South Carolina all the time. You know, I don't see Don Staley every week like the South Carolina reporters. But every time I see them, I mean, yes, I try to talk to them and ask them questions about the team and whatever's going on. But I feel like sometimes you just have to talk to them like people, and you want
Yes.
to get to know them, and like you kind of want to make an impression to like show like, hey, you can trust me, you know, like I'm not always going to be bugging you about like your rebounding. Sometimes I'm going to just ask you about your cute dog. And I've done that before with, I think it was last year, maybe it was the Final Four. And I've talked to Gino Orama before, but like again, I don't talk to him very often, but he's really cool. He's an awesome guy. And I see him walking around, and I remember there was someone next to me, and she's like, "Hey, there's Gino." And at this point, we were trying to find a locker room. I forgot which locker room, but it was in his.
Mm.
Um, or maybe it was, I don't remember, but it was like we were in this arena and it was like this big circle, but I was lost. Like I get lost easily, so I have to get to arenas early to make sure I know where
Yes.
I'm.
Right.
So at this point, we're like looking for places, right? Like a specific place. And we had like 5 minutes to get there. So she's like, "Oh, there's Gino." And I'm like, "Oh, good." I'm like, "Hey." And then she pulls out her phone because she's like, "Oh, she's going to ask him a question." I'm like, "Do you know where this locker room is?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's a big circle, you know, just go that way." I'm like, "Okay, cool, thanks." And she laughs. She's like, "You had Gino in front of you. You could have gotten a one-on-one. And the one thing you choose to ask him is where his locker room is." And I'm like, "Well, I needed directions, you know?" So I saw him again like 20 minutes later. Walking by, he looks at me. I look at him. I'm like, "I found it. Don't worry." And like again, she had pulled out her phone because she's like, "Oh, she's gonna like follow us up. Like, she's gonna ask a question." I'm like, no. I was just like, "No, I found it." And he's like laughing. He's like, "Oh, good. I'm glad you found it. I told you it's a big circle." So little things like that that don't mean anything, and that's not gonna help you with any content. I feel like
Yeah.
those are the best because then one, they're people, and two, like you're also a person. Like I'm not
Right.
just ask questions. Like I'm there to exist too. So yeah, it was, you know, things like that are really funny. And then they get to know you a little more and they just, I don't know, you stick more in their mind. Like Vic Schaefer's another one. We share a birthday. So
Mm.
I always tell him like we're birthday twins.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah.
when I have conversations with him, sometimes it's about fishing. He loves fishing. He goes in the water, he sees sharks. Um, he told me about like his mom's Thanksgiving recipe. So little things like that to me, one is like a good thing to show fans, like, hey, look, like Big Schaefer is more than just this coach.
Yep.
He's also a fisherman. He's also a family man. And I think it gives the fans good insight, but also just it builds a relationship, it builds trust. So then when I have more questions about what's going on the team, then I can answer them better.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Like you said, you look at them as human, like human, you know, they're human people. They're humanizing them, not just you said as a coach or an executive or even the players. And I think they respect that part of media when we ask them about certain things. You said Don Staley's dog, or Gino Rima trying to is helping you try to get around in the stadium, but things like that, because they can, we kind of look at them as like, oh, they're coaching, and they're serious and things like that. But again, it's that human side, the human element. And I remember the last conversation we had, you said that when you do your features and your stories, you try to find that human element of the whoever you're interviewing or whoever you're doing a story on. You find a human element of it first, and then it makes it much easier to talk about the X's and O's. Like you said, yes, they can talk about that all day, but they look forward to, I think a lot of people look forward to having that human interaction of, we're people too, not robots. We're people too, and we can, and you get seem like you get, I'm sure you get better sound bites, you get better content when you're able to talk about other things besides just the game and them and their coaching philosophies.
Yeah, for sure. Like you do get better sound bites, but I think a lot of the time you just have to be genuine because you can
Yeah,
tell. Like
Jalen.
you
Yeah.
see some people who just approach them and they're kind of like, "Hey," like you can see they're trying to get something out of like
Right.
either the SID or like the coaches. But I feel like if you genuinely care and you remember little things about them because you care, not just because you're trying to use it,
Hmm.
I think that's really helpful. And a lot of it also just comes from like watching like what's happening.
Yep.
So in Las Vegas, of course, Texas did so well. But I noticed after Rory Harmon hit like the winning shot, the first player that went to run to her and she was like holding her, it was Madison Booker. And then after the game, both of them shared a moment. They hugged each other, they were really emotional, they were talking to each other. So I asked them about it. I'm like, hey, I noticed you had this little moment. Like you had it twice. So just wondering why you guys chose each other because there were a bunch of other teammates around.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, what do you guys talk about? Like what was that about? And they gave really amazing answers. Like it was so emotional, just their journey together. Even Vic Schaefer was in the middle of them, and I think he got a little emotional. And I just love hearing that story behind that moment. Like, you know, it's a hug. Like people will look at it, it's like, okay, teammates hug. What's the big deal? But to me, it's a big deal because like there was a reason she picked that same player to celebrate with twice.
Yeah.
And it's things like that where like sometimes I see like Kim Mulkey always, you know, does the handshake and talks to players. And sometimes she takes a little longer with certain players. So I ask her like, oh, why did you decide to talk to those three players, you know, a little longer? Like I noticed you linger there. So I always ask about little interactions I notice because it's a good insight on what's really happening in, you know, in the locker room, outside of the locker
Yeah.
room. And I just think those are so important. Anybody can watch a game, honestly. Like you can pull up the stats. A lot of people are really good at knowing what's going on in the basketball game, you know. I'm not necessarily the best X's and O's person. Like I have coworkers who are so much better.
Right.
I still understand the game, but to me it's like if you can watch it and you see what's going on, you can read it in the stat sheet, that's great. But why would I talk about the same thing that you can already find out yourself? Maybe I help people out more, like the audience and fans, if I give them kind of like the context from that, you know, like the
Yeah.
backstory. So for me, that's how I approach my job.
Absolutely, and you do a fantastic job, and you go beyond the box scores, beyond the the scoring and and the stats. It's outside of that. You give, like I said, give context to that with outside of that, like maybe Ali said, that what goes on inside the locker room, and or even outside of that, you bring a different perspective. When I like that when I'm reading different articles and different content, you like said beyond the box score, because you said anybody can pull up a score and say, oh, Madison Booker scored 35 points and they won. Like, okay, yes, one of the best players in the country scores 35 points and they win, they dominate. Okay, we get that, but what about somebody else? What about this? Why did they embrace, as you said, why did Kim Mulkey takes time and connect with certain players more, and you go on that inside, you get that inside look of what's going on in team dynamics too. I think that's wonderful as well. Just got a couple more before I let you go. Wanted to ask you, what are your plans for 2026? Like anything you can announce, what you're working on, anything you got coming up within these next couple of weeks in December and moving forward to 2026?
Yeah, so I can't like give too many details on
Yeah.
exactly what I'll be writing about, but I will be talking to Rory Harmon soon. I'm actually talking to her in like a couple hours, so that's
Okay.
gonna be really fun. So I'm working on something on her. Um, this is it's kind of about the Vic Schaefer said that she's probably the best point guard in the nation.
Mm,
And I mean, that's a bold statement, but
yeah.
also it's not really far fetched. So I'm kind of like exploring that with her. I already like asked Vic Schaefer about it. So that one's one that I'm pretty excited about and should be
Okay.
coming out soon because we have a game on CBS Sports Network this weekend. Texas is going to be playing. So, you know, we thought that was a cool way to kind of catch everybody up. Not that anybody needs to catch up on Texas, but yes, to give
Yes.
like you know some Texas content before that. And like I mentioned, I'm going to be talking to Jan Jensen soon and just
Yep.
catching up with her. Yes, like I've already written about Iowa and what makes them good this season, but I want to talk to her more about like her journey so far. Because last year I did a story on her becoming head coach, which is not something she ever expected really.
Yeah.
So that's going to be, you know, another fun piece. And I got some stuff with UCLA. I got some stuff at LSU coming up too. I think, you know, just like a teaser, I'm going to be doing something really fun with LSU in
Mm,
January.
okay.
So yeah, like just keep an eye on that. But right now it's been a lot of power rankings and all kinds of rankings, all kind of analysis. But right now I'm picking up more with the features now that the season's kind of settling in.
Yeah.
And those are my favorites. So look for more features right now.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to those features. And what you got upcoming. I'm always watching, always looking to see you say your power rankings and everything else. What's been coming up. So I'm looking forward to all those things, and hopefully we got to do this again. Like I said, we talked like this before, like 40 minutes, 45 an hour, whatever it was last time. So I know we can. I know you got some things coming up, so I want to give you have your time so you can prep for your interview and things like that. So, any final words you want to say, or where people can follow you, all those things, anything?
Um, I mean, not really. Honestly, I think you do a really great job.
Thank
I
you.
think with your guests, just make them feel so comfortable,
Thank
and
you. I appreciate that.
this is cool. Like, I love conversations like this. I feel like it's not only about like, okay, well, top team, top player, top
Right,
whatever. We
right,
talk
right.
about that, but I think this is really cool. So hopefully people appreciate it too. I have fun doing it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I have fun. Like I said, I have fun talking with you now. This is your second time on the show, so I call you podcast family. So you are welcome anytime and everything too. But we're gonna definitely gotta do this again in the new year. Let's maybe connect before March Madness,
Yeah.
and that's when the season will really. I always do kind of a preview show when the tournament starts, and conference tournaments and things like that. So I'll definitely have you on as in one of my special shows that I have leading into the final four, or the Madness of March when it comes
Yeah.
up, and which will be here. It's December, about to be January, so it'll be in a couple of months. So I can't wait to see your content, and we'll do a big preview of the tournament beforehand. Maybe do our picks and stuff like that. We'll do something like that. So be on the lookout for an invite for that sometime in February, March, around that time. So
Yeah, looking forward to it. And I mean,
all
you
right.
know where to follow me, like on
Yeah.
Twitter. And then
Yes.
I also started using TikTok.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure it out a little more. I just thought, I should have content there too. So that's my new
Yeah.
thing. I feel like I'm gonna focus, or I'm gonna try to do better at social media. That's
Okay.
2026.
Oh,
So
all right, that might be a New Year's thing, that to be more content on on social media. But I'll
yeah.
follow you. I will follow you on TikTok. I know I follow you on Instagram and Twitter, so but I'll follow you on TikTok as well. But let everyone know where else they can find you, follow your work, ask for advice, or just want to reach out or anything like that. Let everyone know where they can follow you.
Yeah. So don't reach out to me on LinkedIn because I'm so bad at checking it. Please reach out on like Twitter. Like I will read that. Maybe like
Yeah.
Instagram. You can follow me on TikTok. But yeah, my Twitter is C Isabel G. And then I believe Instagram is C Isabel.g. Like that shows you how much I like really pay attention if I really remember it. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, just if you have any questions or you just want to talk basketball, like by all means, please reach out. I feel like I don't really get a lot of like nice DMs of people just like reaching out about things.
Yeah.
So like I totally welcome them.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And you always answer when I contacted you, you were like, yes, let's just set up a date and a time, and we figure it out. So each time, but yeah, always a pleasure having you on. Really, really appreciate it. Appreciate the time, and thanks again. Best of luck with everything, and many blessings, and happy holidays, happy New Year, and yeah, we'll talk soon.
We'll talk soon. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Thank you. You have a good one.
You too.